Hey guys, so I've been getting a lot of messages asking me how I do my eyebrows, so I thought I would make a video of 2 ways of how you can do your eyebrows, which is super simple. So obviously my eyebrows are laminated, so that's obviously one way to do them, but I'll try and like brush them down to try and show you how you could do it if your brows weren't laminated. So yeah, I hope you get some tips. So first of all, we'll start with if your brows are laminated. So what I do is I just brush my eyebrows up so that I can see my arch, and do that on both sides, obviously. Just to get those hairs out the way. And then the next thing, it doesn't have to be too perfect, just as long as that they're brushed and out the way. And then the next thing that I do is I get a flat brush, just a mini one. This one's actually the Sigma Concealer F70, for those of you interested. So yeah, make sure it's like a flat brush like this, foundation one. And then obviously whatever concealer that you're going to be using for the rest of your makeup. I do my eyebrows first. You don't have to, I never used to, but if I'm doing like a eyeshadow look, then obviously I'm going to do my eyes first before foundation, so there's no fallout. It's just easier. But yeah, like I say, if you want to do your foundation first, if you don't wear eyeshadow, then go ahead and put your foundation on at this point, brush your eyebrows up, and then ready for this next section. So I'm just going to use the Tarte one, and this is just a couple of shades lighter than my natural skin tone, just because I don't use like a really light concealer, but obviously a little bit lighter, just so that it's going to highlight obviously this area here. So I just take that and I go directly on there and just take a little bit. You don't want it to be a lot, just a tiny little bit right on the tip of the brush, and then I map out and cut out where I want the eyebrow shape to be. So carefully, just little strokes at a time. And it's important that you use tiny little bits of product at a time, otherwise you're just going to get a mess. And very important to keep it nice and subtle right at the start here. You don't want a harsh line, so just start off. Really, really soft hand when you're doing that. And then just keep building up, take more product off if you want to get that line exactly how you want it to be. Again, don't worry like too much about getting it perfect, as long as you've kind of got what you want. It's mostly important just for the arch. And if your eyebrows like are sparse, like mine's are kind of sparse here, I've not actually went right up to the hairline. I've done it a little bit down a little bit, just because I want to map out like how I want my eyebrow to be, and you're going to be filling it in anyway, so it's fine. So yeah, so just do that, and then once you're happy with that line, just go back in. Once you're happy with that line, it shouldn't be harsh, but obviously you can see this line here, so you just want to sort of like pat and drag it down the way like that, just to blend it out really softly like that, and that's it. And then usually obviously what I would do at this point is get like a fluffy foundation brush and then just buff it into my skin, getting more product, more concealer as a base ready for my eyeshadow. Obviously if you don't wear eyeshadow, then just do whatever you would do at that point. But yeah, basically that's it. So you can see the difference there. Yeah. And then just to set it all ready again for my eyeshadow, but as well as that, I would set it anyway whether you wear eyeshadow or not, because you don't want to get like a crease in your foundation. You just want it to be nice and seamless. I just get like just a setting powder. What I usually do is I use a eyeshadow colour, and usually just in a light shade. So I'm just going to use the Too Faced chocolate palette and just that shade there with a fluffier powder brush. You can see the powder coming off there, and then just set that all. And I usually use a lighter shade because it's better for transitioning colours and getting that highlight. So you can see the difference there of that. So that's the first bit. Next bit, really important that you have an angled liner brush is usually what they're called. So that's it there. This one is just a Bloomin' Luna. I got these from New Look. They're actually so good. I got a whole set, and yeah, it's just an angled one. And make sure that the angle, the flatness is really, really flat. So you want it to be really precise. And the product that I used to use like the Anastasia like dip brow and like pomades and things like that, but I just find now I prefer like a more natural fluffy brow. So, and I don't like any harsh lines or anything, so I just use powder. So obviously because I'm a makeup artist, I've got like a brow palette with lots of different shades, but you can invest in eyebrow colour that's just specific to you. But this one is actually a Zoeva palette. It's called Brow Spectrum, and you can see it's got lots of shades in there, and obviously you can see that one's the one that's used the most. But yeah, there's plenty of other ones, and I mean, even if you had like a neutral eyeshadow palette, like a brown smoky sort of thing, you could even, if your eyebrow colour was that, then you could even use that. So to get started on the powder, what we need to do is I usually take the darkest shade, so the colour that's going to match my eyebrows, so obviously the dark one there, and then I start on the end, so usually just the arch, and you're always pulling it out that way, never go in there, just always do strokes out the way, because you're wanting to follow your natural hairs. And I first of all just get that arch and that tail line in so that I can map out the rest of how my brow is going to be, especially for lamination. So when I get here, I just do like, by this time there's not much product left on it from obviously doing it here. Just want to really lightly do little strokes, again to follow the natural hairs. Just like that. And just get rid of more excess. I've literally only dipped this in once, so just to get rid of any excess product. There still will be a little bit of product left on this, so then what I do is I just keep making my way further to the front, so you can see that it's really dark here because this is where I've started, and because the product's getting less and less, it's obviously making this nice ombre effect that we can build up on. So literally just go to where I want my eyebrow to start, and that at the start should be the lightest it is. So you can see there's like a groovy wee line there. So obviously we're going to blend that out. We don't want any harsh lines. So angle the brush like this, and using the little tip, just stroke up the way, really gently, sort of like plucking that line and manipulating the powder to go up. Honestly guys, this is so much easier than what you're maybe thinking right now, but literally just doing that all over and then keep doing that. It may seem silly and strenuous, like are you even getting any product anywhere else, but you honestly are. Little is more. So you can see that is basically, you could stop there, and then obviously you can go back in with this and brush a little bit more, and that's like a nice, you can see the comparison, that's a nice sort of subtle fluffy brow. But if you're like me and like to go all the way because I can't just help myself, then you can do more. So I have these bad boys. They are Benefit. I would actually say Benefit eyebrow stuff is actually really good. I got this in a set, but Huda Beauty have just come out with a precision brow pencil, and it's like the thinnest one ever. Really want to try that. This one is precisely my brow pencil, and you can see, can you see? Yeah, how thin that is. So what I usually do, take these and make little hairs like right here, because you can see that it looks really sparse here. Obviously don't go overboard, but yeah, just do like little strokes like this to fill that brow out a bit, especially because I've got dark eyebrows. I don't want them to look really sparse and not good. So you can see that already looks much better, and you just have a wee play about with it until you're happy with what you've done. Putting the wrong lid on it, whoops, there we go. Yeah, and then usually like just go back in, building the colour. Remember, less is more, so start off with less product and then keep building up. So again, I've put more product in there, starting about here, building up, making it a little bit darker. Making sure it's even. There we go. And I wouldn't worry too much about getting product like right in this bit, because when I go to put my foundation on, I'm going to have to like go back over and brush this up. But that is basically how to do that one. And then obviously I would go and match on that side as well. So I hope that was fairly straightforward, and you can see that it doesn't take that much effort. Pretty easy, and that's how you do that. Okay, so I'm going to keep that side on just so you can compare them. So with this side, I'm going to try, because I know not everyone has laminated brows, and obviously with salons being closed, unless you do it yourself, which I don't recommend. I recommend obviously getting someone professional. Obviously when I open, come to me. But yeah, you might not have your brows laminated. So I'm going to try and make my brows. It looks so funny with my brows, how they should naturally be. Try and make my brows like, I don't know if this is possible. It looks so funny. I'm not used to seeing my brows like this anymore. So yeah, as normal as possible. So yeah, try to do that. Again, start off obviously brushing, combing through your brows. It's like when you do your hair, you're not going to go and try and do a hairstyle without brushing your hair. That'd be silly. So same thing with your eyebrows, it's hair. Brush it and, you know, get it all ready, get it prepped. So again, going in with the flat brush, I think it's always better to start like with the concealer first, because see if you like go in straight away and try and fill in your eyebrows and then it's like you end and then you go with the concealer, it just smudges and you might go over. It's like basically a wee guide. It's like, you know what it's like? It's like drawing a picture. So like these are the lines, and then when you fill them in, it's like colouring it in so you can't go over the lines. So this kind of like keeps you in the guide. So yeah, again, little product, same thing as the other side. Okay, fairly easy, right? And then we just need to blend this line very carefully, like so. So obviously I've used a little bit more product here, and this is exactly what I said not to do, because now you can see how difficult it is to try and blend it out. So yeah, glad I did that so you could see, but I mean, you can do it, it just takes a lot longer. But yeah, so that's it, basically blended out. Obviously going in with the fluffy one and blending it. With as little product as possible. Obviously if you don't wear eyeshadow, if you do, get that packed on, and then just with no product at all, just pat up the middle, because there's nothing worse than having no foundation there. It just does not look great at all. But yeah, so that's that. Just making sure that line is blended out. Okay, yeah, so now we are ready for step 2. Okay, same again, your brush, angled brush, gonna use the powder, and then same again really, is just follow that line, starting in the middle, dragging it out the way, working your way to this. Again, I do like sweep it up, but instead of making it like with the point to make it look like little individual hairs, I just use it like that and just sort of sweep it up the way so it's more together, if that makes sense. And then obviously that is just the underneath, and now we need to do the top so that it all matches. So little bit more product, little bit. I just usually like tap off any excess just so that there's no like fallout, and there's just like a little amount. Start again, center. I'm gonna have to like not talk at this part because I want it to be like precise, so bear with me. But yeah, start in the middle and then stroke it out the way, working your way out with less and less product going to the center. Okay, so you can see that sort of like building up, and you need to be, the reason why I like this is it's so much easier. Like you don't have to be that precise because it's like brush up, it's like fluffy, but with this type of brow you need to kind of be precise. And what you want to do is see this arch here, you want to match that and make sure that is even. So I mean, you could leave it like that and have a really like tiny tail, but I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, so I want it to be the same size all the way. So just do it gently, build up. Okay, so can you kind of see how I've done that? And you can notice this looks really light compared to up above, if that makes sense. So it's not a problem at all. Just take a little bit more product, remember? And then just build until it gets the effect you want it. And by doing this lightly, it means that if you do want to use more concealer to make that line a little bit more sharper, then you can. So like hardly any product on here at all, just ombreing the front there really lightly. Yeah, and then I can see a little line, a little bit there that I'm not happy with. So I'm going to get my flat brush, hardly any products, remember. Just making sure that that line is exactly how I want it. Okay, and then just give them a wee brush if you want. And that is basically how you do that. So obviously it looks very odd with two different styles of eyebrow, but I hope that you have learnt something and that this helps you a bit. Obviously, if you want to ask me any questions, then you can do so. Message me or comment below and I will get back to you. If you want any other more specific videos, then let me know and I can do them. But yeah, that's basically ready for you if you want to go and do your eyeshadow, get on with the rest of your makeup routine, and of course if you've already put your foundation and your base on, then that will still work either way. And also, last thing, what I would usually do, but I can't find it right now, is put a list. 2 seconds. I absolutely pooped myself. Sorry about that. That was the doorbell for my parcel. But yeah, so basically I'll just come a little bit closer so you can see what's going on. So yeah, my last tip would be to get some brow gel, and at this point I would just put a wee bit of brow gel on, just to set them completely. Probably do that actually last after I've done all my makeup, just to set them as the final piece and make sure that they last. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.